How's it going, Scrub Gamers? Welcome back to another video here at Scrub Games, and today we got some more quality Shadow of the Galaxy reveals that we've got from the last week, and we're going to go over all of them. So if you didn't know, I do this kind of video at the end, well, either at the end of the week or the beginning of the next week, just to go over what we had in the previous week of spoilers in terms of Star Wars Unlimited, because we are still, well, Set 2's due to come out soon, like next month, and we're slowly getting reveals from it to show like cards in there, and to see like getting more hype for seeing us the second set, because we've got some cool mechanics and stuff, and it's just interesting to see, along with like more leaders as well. So before we get into the video and check out what we got from the last week, just remember to like, comment, subscribe, keep you updated with my videos as when they drop, and by clicking the notification bell you can get alerts when videos do drop to watch them there and then, or at a later time that suits you best. So without the wait, let's go and check out what we've got for some quality Shadows of the Galaxy reveals this week. So starting off with the two leaders, because we've always seemed to get two leaders of the week until we get all of them. So we got the last two. So we got the last two this week that we last week that we didn't know the characters of, because we know that the other two we're still missing now are Han Solo as the aggression heroic one, and then Jabba as the command villainy one. So we know what those two characters are, we don't know what the effects are, but then we didn't know what the other two characters after the other ones revealed, so, which were the Vigilance heroic here, which you can see is Finn, and then also the ever cunning and villainy one. So we got the two we didn't know the characters of, so now we just got to wait for the next week to get the basic effects of Han Solo and Jabba, and then we basically have all the leaders, and we can start like speculating and kind of like just basically seeing what they will do and kind of rank them and stuff. So the other heroic like Vigilance one that goes along with Rey is Finn. So Finn comes in and gets a leader as well. And so Finn, this is a rescue. So he's quite an interesting one. So he deploys at 5 resources, which is not too early but not too late. And he comes around pretty nice stats at 4-5. So the same stats like Han Solo, but comes to turn earlier. Well, Han Solo can come in a little bit earlier because of his own effect, but Finn comes down on turn 3 at the earliest, and he provides you with the Vigilance, so blue, and heroic being white in terms of aspects, so you can access those ones without the acid penalty. And he is like, he's just like Rey. He's got the fringe. I don't get what the fringe trait is, like what it's for, like if there's any benefit to it, because he could just be a trooper, like Rey could have just been a force, but he's got fringe and trooper, so you get some trooper support, and there's like a few cards that kind of reference the trooper skill to kind of get benefits. It's mainly on the dark side, but still we have it on this side. And his effect is all around like taking out your friendly upgrades. Remember, upgrades could be experience, they could be shields, it could be like upgrades you attach and stuff. And defeating those to kind of protect everybody by giving them shields. So in the leader area, his effect is an action, meaning you need to tap himself, so you need to arrest him. And then what you need to do as well is defeat a friendly upgrade on the unit. And if you do that, you get to give a shield token to that unit. So if you've got a unit that's got an upgrade or like experience on it, you can sack one of those off for that unit and then replace it with a shield on that unit instead, so you get that protection. And then when he does deploy, he's now got the same effect but on attack. So rather than tap himself, he has to attack. And you need to, once again, defeat a friendly upgrade on the unit and then give a shield token to the unit. So the nice thing about that is you can just keep like sacking off experience if you give like something a lot of experience, or even just you can put upgrades and stuff. And then you can set this off to give shields to protect them. And on the turn he deploys, you can put 2 shields on things, because you could do it with the action and then on the attack. Because remember, even if the leader in the leader area is tapped after using the effect, when it deploys always inactive. So it's always there active, ready to go. So it's quite interesting because you're technically sacking off experience to give shields to it, but the shields do offer some quite nice things in protection. So the next damage it would take is just mitigated by removing the shield instead. So that's quite nice there. But then you're sacking off like experience, which experience is quite nice because it powers up the card. But then again, if experience means nothing, if it can just be one-shotted or taken out. But then there are cards that also like instantly take out things. If we're getting a new, like getting some new removal extras in blue or Vigilance, which allow you to just take out things a lot easier, and even one that just takes out absolutely anything, which is a bit strong. Well, then it's balanced out by its cost. But it's quite interesting. It's quite interesting to see. And also, there's a card that kind of makes it you can always there's a card you can use with Finn as well. We'll see in a little bit that you can kind of use with Finn, make sure you're always giving experience and not have to worry about like putting something on an external card to kind of keep sacking things off. But being able to swing, being able to like just get rid of upgrades on your friendly units and put shields on is quite nice. And one thing to do remember is that if you put if you can put upgrades on your opponent's cards as well as your own cards. But remember, any card, like a friendly upgrade is one you control, and even if you put an upgrade on your opponent's card, that is still your upgrade. You still control that card. It's just attached to your opponent. So if your opponent puts, like, say, entrenched on one of your cards, you can't sack that off because even though it's on your unit, it's not your upgrade. It's your opponent's upgrade, so it's not a friendly upgrade. So you can't just sack off upgrades your opponent puts on your cards to make way for Finn. So do note that. And then you might be wondering what the Ever Leader is. Well, the Ever Leader is Dr. Alpha. So yeah, the last is Dr. Alpha. Oh, I kind of spelled it wrong. I didn't realize I spelled it wrong in the little text, so ignore that, please. But yeah, Doctor Alpha is the Ever one. I was hoping for Darth Maul. I was excited to get Darth Maul's leader because I really like the character. Like him and Qui-Gon are my favorites because I did grow up with the prequels as a kid. Didn't really wasn't really watching too much of the originals. And yeah, so like Qui-Gon was like one of my favorite. It's probably my favorite character for Star Wars. I think Darth Maul was actually pretty sick as a villain. So I was hoping for a Maul leader. I know it would be in Cunning, but no, sadly not getting a Maul leader set. We do got a Maul card that's really cool. So hopefully next set, since it's during the Clone Wars, the next set 3, we'll hopefully get a Maul leader to them. But yeah, then we get Doctor Alpha. I didn't know where this is, but apparently he's from a comic book series. He first appeared in like a Darth Vader comic series. I didn't realize there were a comic series for Star Wars. Never realized that. Apparently, there is one for like loads of things, like more like Power Rangers stuff like that, which is pretty cool. And she is from the comics. So if you've never just not seen the comics or just watched the films like me and like the series, you've probably never seen her. But she is from the comics. So I have no kind of like information about what the character. I just know she's Dr. Alpha, rapacious archaeologist. But she's quite an interesting one because just like Finn, she deploys as early as turn was on 5 resources, so not too early but not too late. And all she's got is fringes. Like she's got fringes. I wonder if they're going to make use of like the fringe trait and actually do something about it because I didn't really get why it's there. But yeah, that's what she is. Like she doesn't deploy with many stats. Her stats are like the same as Sabine, just one turn late. Well, a turn later because she comes down as a 2/5, but then she can be a little bit stronger. And she's quite an interesting effect. She's got quite an interesting effect because it's one that currently at the moment it's not absolutely amazing, but in the future, if we get more cards that kind of like interact with your discard and things like that, she could be very, very good. Like she's got one of those effects which, depending on what we get in the future, she could be very good given the right support regarding like discard effects. Because what her effect is on the leaders in the leader area is when the regroup phase starts. So when you at the end of your turn, you regroup and you like draw resource untap. She makes you discard a card from your deck. So at the start, when the regroup phase starts, you discard the top card of your deck, which is quite interesting. So you like just milling yourself out. So if you like played Yu-Gi-Oh or anything like that, you like recognize it from like Light Swords, kind of like milling the top card of your deck, but then we get benefits of it. But we haven't seen much. Like, there's not too many things to kind of benefit that. And I know there is the Kylo Ren's fighter thing, is a kind of like space unit. Now that is that could interact with this, but the problem is when it's how the turns phase go. Where you got your action phase, where you can where you play cards, use effects and stuff like that, like play the game. That's the first start of your phase, and at the end of the phase, you don't have the untap phase, like the regroup phase. Start your turn is at the end of your turn. So technically, it's in the same turn before. So when it comes to the next turn, you get next action phase. If you have milled from top of your deck that Kylo Ren Sci Fighter, then you won't be able to play it from the drop using this effect because it was from the last turn, not the same turn. So that's kind of a little bit of a bummer there. But it's a weird one where you're just basically milling yourself out while it's in the leader area. But then you get benefits from the drop. But then currently there's many benefits from like milling yourself. But hopefully in future, if you get more cards that kind of interact with the discard, like you can play from the discard or add back from the discard, then you can kind of make good use of this. It's because of very good leaders. It's one that's got a lot of potential, but currently at the moment doesn't have the most benefit from what it does. But when you do deploy, she comes down as a 2/5, but she can make herself stronger because while there are 5 or more different costs among cards in your discard pile, this card gets 3+ power. So when you've got 5 or more different costs of stuff in your discard, so you need at least 5 cards in your discard that have different costs, then she gets an extra 3 power, so she comes down as a 5/5. So that's pretty good, pretty strong, like stronger than Iden and stuff like that. But still quite, once again, a leader that's easily susceptible to takedown and doesn't have the strongest stats, but then it's one that well, it depends like how you want to play it. Like she's gonna be an interesting one. How I'd like to build around and play, but it's pretty cool though. So also, not only that, she also has like effect when deployed. So I think it's one of the first. No, there's like with Kira, like there's first like in this set, we got the first two leaders that have like effects that activate when deployed. So like how Kira is all about like healing everything and then everything taking damage equal to like half its HP. Dr. Alpha's when deployed is allows you to choose 3 cards in your discard pile with different names. So any 3 cards in your discard pile, they all have to have different names. And then if you do, you return one of them to your hand at random. So you basically just pick like 3 most desired cards from your discard with different names. Then you shuffle them, pick one at random, and that's at random to your hand. The rest are left in your discard. So it's quite cool. You can get something back that you want. So if you've got 3 cards, you definitely know it'd be very beneficial situation. You're going to get one of them back, which is really cool. So it's a really interesting effect. Like only one deployed. Remember, you can only deploy once because you can only use any epic action once a game. So you get one time use to kind of grab back. But it makes it more balanced that is different names, because if you have the same all 3 copies of the same card in there, you can basically just add that back. It's this way it gets random. But if you've got 3 cards you really want that be helpful, then you're always going to blast off that then, which is quite nice. So yeah, so here's quite an interesting one. Like I never seen like the characters. I don't know like the lore behind it. The effects are quite interesting. Like they're not going to be like amazing now, but yeah, she's one of those leaders that has a lot of potential in the future if we get more things that interact with the discard, which could be cool. So that's the 2 leaders. So those are the 2 leaders we have this week. So next week we should see Han Solo and Jabba, and finally see what they do, what the stats are. So we know like Jabba has a lot of health and what their like aspects are, but we don't know what they kind of do. So we're looking forward to that. So now we get on to the rest of the cards, the non-leaders that we got this week, and we got some Vigilance cards. So we got a legendary here in Supreme Leader Snoke. So the Shadow Ruler, he's legendary in the set. Then we got a Chewbacca unit as well. So we got a second Chewbacca unit. We got one in the first set plus a leader. We got in this set to add more Wookiees to the set, which is quite nice. So we can play like a Wookiee deck. And you got Embo from the from some of the series. I think I've seen him in Clone Wars and in, I can't remember if it's Rebels or Bad Batch. Might have been Bad Batch. No, it could have been Rebels. Can't remember which one it is, but I know I've seen him in the animated series on Disney Plus. So he's stock and resolute. So we got these 3 Vigilance leaders. So Supreme Leader Snoke, as I said, is a legendary 8 cost, 6/6. So quite costly, not too bad stats. Like same as Palpatine really, because he is kind of like a Palpatine clone, and he is a Force First Order and official one because he can use the Force. He's part of the first rule of the First Order, and he's official because he's the leader of it. And he gives each enemy non-leader unit -2/2 stats. So you can, if something goes that you can potentially like, if you have like a what's it called, crafty smuggler on board, and that instantly just dies because this effect puts it down to 0/0. So that's quite nice to weaken all your opponent's board, but it's susceptible to being like taken out. So but it's quite interesting effect. We've haven't really seen much. And we got Chewbacca here, being also at 8 costs, but this time on the good side. He's Vigilance with the heroism. He's got a pretty interesting stat. So 10 health, so being like Wookiees seem to have like a lot of bulk to them, because they can take hits, they are tanks. And he's also got a good 4 power. He's Underworld Wookiee because, he's with Chewbacca, he's with Han Solo, like smuggling and stuff. And he's also a Wookiee. So we got more and more Wookiees, which is nice. So hopefully we'll get a good amount of Wookiees in this set, then a good amount of Wookiees in the next, like in the few sets as well. So we can play like a pretty cool Wookiee deck already now for the next set. It'll be interesting playing Chewbacca with like some more Wookiees. And he's another card that we can get smuggle. So quite interesting here. He's a card you can smuggle in, and he's got 9 costs for a smuggle, but then his aspects are a little bit different. So like how you get a fair few, like most of the smuggle cards, they have the same aspects as on the card, but also we get some smuggle cards that have different aspects. Like you've seen with the Hotshot Blaster, that you can smuggle that in, but it's a cunning. It needs the cunning aspect to smuggle in as its aspect. And just like that, we've got Chewbacca here being a 9 cost, so extra 1 cost for Chewbacca, but he smuggles in for aggression and heroism. So aggression and heroism, not vigilance, to smuggle in. So it kind of makes sense because it go with the Han Solo leader, because Han Solo leader is going to be an aggression heroic, so that makes sense for that. But he's also got grit as well, so any damage he takes converts into power, which is really nice, especially when you've got 10 health. You can get like a very strong. And he's also got a when played, which allows you to defeat any unit with 5 or less remaining HP. So he's kind of like the heroic side's Count Dooku in a sense, because he's costs 1 more, but then he can pop something that's got 1 more health than like Count Dooku can. And he doesn't come in shielded, but he gets grip, and he also smuggle. So yeah, he is like the heroic side's Count Dooku, which is really cool. I'm looking forward to trying out some Wookiees for next set and getting them as for getting this in hyperspace is gonna look really nice. Then the last one we've got is Embo. So he's a free cost, free force. So like gets like this is kind of like the kind of good stance on free cost. Like we've seen a fair few like good free cost units that have free power and 4 health. Because we get things like Millennium Falcon, Ezra, and other stuff that as well has like pretty good stats like that on its got cheap cost of free. And he's an Underworld and Bounty Hunter, and he's got a pretty nice effect because like when this unit completes an attack, if the defender was defeated, he'll up to 2 damage from a unit. It could be any unit, so he'll up to 2 damage from any unit, and even himself. So if he attacks into something and takes damage, you can heal that damage off himself. So he can be like quite hard, like he can stay around quite a bit. And if you supposed to take out something that only does 2 damage back, you heal it completely off you, so you're unscathed. So it's pretty nice, pretty cool card. Like I'm really liking this. I'm looking forward to like more and more heroic like vigilance units to help with or to make Turret Double Blue better, because it lacks on good units, and the more good units we get, the more I'm excited for it. So that is those ones, and we got some command cards. We only had like 3 vigilance units because we've had a fair few like general reveal so far, but then we got a few for heroic command. So we got Maz Kanata, we got Maz Kanata as the ground unit. Then we got Inspire and Mentor as an upgrade for the heroic side of command, and then we got Spark of Hope being an event for the heroic side of command. So they're all quite cheap costing ones, because we've got Maz Kanata here. She's a 1 cost. Underworld, 1/1 stats, like not the biggest. But then, when you play another unit where this card is on the board, you give an experience token to this unit. So that can be really nice. As like the more things you play with her on the board, the stronger she gets, and she's also a rare as well, which is quite interesting. So it'd be interesting to see what it is, because it's quite weak. But then, if you play a lot of units, she can stick around. She can get quite strong, and you can potentially build it to be huge for like quite a cheap cost as well. But not the most amazing, but it's quite a fun one. Then you got Inspire and Mentor. This is the card that goes really well with Finn, and can make Finn a lot better, not have to rely on other cards to kind of set up for its effect. Because it's a 2 cost upgrade, gives you 1/1 to your stats, so make Finn 5/7 if you attach it to him. You can't attach it to can only attach to a non-vehicle unit, and the attached unit gains this effect of on attack or when defeated, you give an experience token to another friendly unit. So because both Finn when he's deployed and this card have have its effect as on attack, they both trigger at the same time, and as you can basically choose which one resolves first. So you can go Inspire Mentor first to give an experience token to another friendly unit, and then Finn's effect to then sack off that experience you just gave to a friendly unit to then turn it into a shield shield token instead. So this pairs really well with things. So we're going discussing it a little bit. I want to know like what you can kind of like do with Finn. Like what's the best way to like use him, like get out experience and fit upgrades and stuff, so you can kind of sack him off for shields. And Experimenter just basically came not long after it, just going, yeah, this is the perfect thing to do it, because then you can trigger it both at the same time, put an experience on, and exchange a experience token for a shield, which is really cool. So you can this is a really nice one as well, and also makes Finn a little bit stronger, a little bit more bulkier, which is really nice too. And then you can always, sack itself off to give Finn a experience token as well. Like in the end, if you want to kind of like hold him off and you think he's going to die and stuff like that. And then we've got Spark of Hope. So this is technically a never ramp card, and green only had so far, if you count this verse, it only has 3 cards that allow you to ramp, being Super Laser Technician, Resupply, and Command. And now it has another one, and this time in the heroic side of Command, being Spark of Hope. So this is an event, a 2-cost one, but it's got like kind of a situational way of how to ramp, because unlike the other ones where you can just essentially Super Laser Technician just needs to be defeated, which as a unit you can ram it into something to kill itself, especially when it's got 1 health, to then ramp you and get inactive. And the other 2, just playing them allows you to ramp. But Spark of Hope needs kind of like other stuff to happen so you can actually ramp, because its effect is to choose a unit from your discard pile, and if it was defeated this phase, put into play as a resource. You need to have something die in that turn and then be able to choose that to put into to ramp into your energy. And while it does seem quite situational, it is quite easy to do, because if you've got a unit on your board and you can just ram it in like kamikaze into something to either just to kill itself or to like trade with something else on your opponent's board, you can then use Spark of Earth and then go around and ramp into energy, and for cheap as well because it only costs 2. So it's a bit more situational and not like as easy just play ramp as the other ones, but it gives the heroic side of green actually finding a ramp card, and very easy to do since they've got like quite cheap units. You can just kamikaze, if your opponent takes that unit, you can go, okay, I'm going to ramp it then, thank you. So pretty nice cards, some pretty cool ones, and we've also got some aggression as well. So we've got a fair few for aggression. So first here we've got some upgrade, like we've got a unit and some upgrades. So we've got Unlicensed Headhunter as a space unit. We've got Heroic Resolve as a heroic upgrade, and then we got Vambrace Flamethrower being a just normal aggression upgrade. So Unlicensed Headhunter is a 2-cost space unit. It comes in with 3 power and 2 health, and it's Underworld Vehicle Fighter. Has Saboteur, so it can ignore, I think, it can like defeat shields and ignore Sentinel. That's the one. But it also comes with a bounty. So while this card is exhausted, it gains the bounty, being heal 5 from your base. So if the unit's defeated or captured, your opponent collects the bounty. So this could you can be like being a very rest of the base, but you have to take this out while this card is rested. They can heal 5 from the base. So but if it's killed and it's active, they get no bounty. It's got to be rested. So if you leave this inactive, like swing last, you don't have to worry about them collecting a bounty, but it's healing off the damage you were trying to do. So pretty interesting and quite a cheap, pretty strong space unit as well. So pretty good for its cost. And then you got Heroic Resolve. This is quite an interesting one because it's a 1-cost upgrade for like aggression heroic. Gives you 1/1 to your stats, and it doesn't give any like lingering effects. But it does give you a allow the attached unit to gain an effect, which is an action where you pay 2 and defeat a Heroic Resolve on this unit. So basically, defeat a copy of Heroic Resolve on this unit, being itself, or another copy of on the same unit. And then you get to attack with a unit. Well, you attack with the unit it was attached to, and the unit gains plus 4 power, so an extra 4 power for that attack, and gains Overwhelm, meaning that when it does damage to a unit, it defeats it. If the damage on the unit exceeds its health, any of that excess damage goes to your opponent's base instead. So that's really nice, especially when you've got something that's like damaged, where it's like holding on with like a fair 1 or 2 health. You can like attack this, finish off that unit, and then do piercing. Essentially, it's piercing damage. It allows you give piercing damage, which is quite cool. So it's a really nice one. Just does cost 3 to fully go off if you want to do it in the same turn, or you can just have linger, be a 1/1 power boost, and then just go right. So this is going to be an issue. I'd never reason to play Red Chirrup, because you can put this as a upgrade on Chirrup, and then when it's soon gonna die, you can go, okay, you can't defeat Chirrup by damage, so I'm just gonna go defeat this off, give it plus 4 power and overwhelm, so it can pierce through, take something out, and make use of him before he dies, if he dies, because he's quite hard to kill. And then we got Vambrace Flamethrowers. This is quite a costly upgrade, being a 3-cost one, and it only gives 1/1 to stats, so it's not doesn't give the best addition to stats for its cost. 3 costs for just 1/1 is not the best, but especially when you compare it to things like Jedi Lightsaber and Fallen Lightsaber, but then lightsabers are a bit cooler and a bit strong weapons. But this gives you quite an interesting effect, because it can't be attached to it can only be attached to non-vehicle units, and no space units or vehicles. But it gives the attached unit on attack, which is you may deal 3 damage divided as you choose among enemy ground units. So while you only give plus 1/1 to the stats of the card, when it attacks, you can put 3 damage anywhere you like on ground units. So you can ping 1 on something else, 1 something to take it out, finish it off, and then 2 on something else. You can basically just choose what you put on, and it does make the unit stronger. So that's quite a cool one. Not the best stats, but a very nice ability to make up for the lack of stats. And then you got a fair few more aggression cards. And we've got some events now. So these are all 4 new events we've got for aggression. And we have the first one being a villainy event, being headhunting, 2-cost. Then we got the 1-cost desperate attack, the 3-cost detention, block, rescue, and then the 4-cost pillage. So start with the from left to right, we've got the headhunting, which is a villainy 1, 2-cost, and its effect is attack with up to 3 units, 1 at a time. They can't attack bases for these attacks, and each bounty hunter that attacks this way gets extra 2 plus power for this attack. So it allows you, it's like a upgraded, well, it's like not upgraded, but like a dark side aggression form of like Rebel Assault, where you can attack with multiple units at once. But in this case, you can attack with up to 3 units, one at a time. Can't go to the base, you gotta go for every units. And if they're bounty hunters, they get 2 power for that attack, making them a little bit stronger for those swings. So you can kind of like clear a board quite well, which is quite nice. It doesn't say just units in a certain arena, it's just any units in any arenas, but you can attack up to 3 ones, and but they can't attack bases. So that's quite a cool one, quite an interesting one, and nice uncommon as well. Then the rest of these events are all commons. So you got Desperate Attack. So this is a 1 cost that allows you to attack with a damaged unit. So the unit has to be damaged to use this on, and then it gets extra +2 for that attack. So you can kind of like, if it's about to die, use like allow it to like kamikaze in something or take something out that might be stronger, like to take it down with him. So that's quite an interesting one. Then you've got Detention Block Rescue. This is a 3-cost event, and it allows you to deal 3 damage to a unit. But if that unit is guarding any captured cards, you deal 6 damage instead. So you can just do 3. It's like a 3-cost event that does 3 damage. But if that card is guarding a captured card, you double the damage instead, which is quite cool. So you can kind of do a lot more damage to something that's capturing things. But still, free resources for 3 damage is pretty nice. It's not too bad. Like it's just like it's only outshined by Open Fire, which does 4 damage, but then you have that benefit if it's just a captured card, you can do extra, like double the damage, which is cool. Next one you got is my one of my favorite ones I've seen for the event. That is kind of going towards like my view, like what my aim of going for like a hand control deck, and that is Pillage. Now this is a 4-cost event, so a little more costly than the rest, but it allows you to choose a player, and then that player discards 2 cards from the hand. So it's basically just a pay 4, discard, make your opponent discard 2, which is quite cool. Like add more hand control cards, which is quite nice. You got some in like it makes me want to play more of a cunning heroic hand control build, which is going to be very fun. Well, for me, very fun to play. I played some cunning heroic hand control, and now can go into red for a bit more hand control and a bit more fun. And it's quite nice just to like play it the slow game and kind of like reduce your opponent's resources, like options, and then just keep their hand low. And especially since your hand is very low at the beginning of the game, making your opponent discard 2 by just paying 4 is pretty nice, because you basically, rather than just making them trade 1 for 1, they're losing 2, you basically losing 1 card from your hand. So yeah. So those are the aggression cards, and then we got many cunning cards. So we've got the like the duo of Forlom and Zuckuss, Zuckuss. And then we got Resourceful Pursuers. So Forlom and Zuckuss are got 2 cards that go together. They both have the same tag of Bounty Hunter for hire, and they both have the Underworld and Bounty Hunter traits. But then Forlom is a droid, while Zuckuss is not. And they both benefit from each other out. Like so, Forlom is a 4-cost. He comes out turn earlier than Zuckuss, who's a 5-cost, and they have slightly different stats. So Forlom is a 4-cost, 4/4, while Zuckuss is a 5-cost, 6/6. So pretty decent stats. And they're both villain units as well, because they are bounty hunters. So I imagine they're like the same circles like Cad Bane and Boba and stuff like that. But they both got kind of slightly different stats for their slightly different keywords. Where Forlom has ambush, so he can come in straight away and attack, like ready and attack an enemy unit the turn he's played. And Zuckuss has Saboteur, I mean he can ignore a sentinel and also defeat defender shields. And they both have effects that like benefit the other one when they're out. So Forlom has an effect which each friendly unit named Zuckuss gets extra +1 power, making it a 5-cost 7/7, which is very good. And also gains ambush. So basically, and then Zuckuss kind of does the same thing, where each friendly unit named Forlom gets +1 power, so it's a 4-cost 5/5. And then against Saboteur, so you can ignore Sentinel and defeat shields. So basically give each other their stats. And then if you can bring up Forlom first, he can come in, ambush something, and potentially take something out for 4. And then next he plays Zuckuss, and then when Zuckuss comes in, if you got Forlom on foe, he gains ambush. And so he can attack them straight away. He gets +1 power as well, becomes a 7/7, and also a Saboteur, so you can ignore Sentinel and just defeat shields as well. So they become a very nasty pair, like very good cards, especially for like Cad Bane, and also for Boba Fett. So very nice guy, like even more good cards for like Boba Fett, and also some good ones for Cad Bane as well. Because remember, where like ambush is a on play kind of thing, like you trigger on play, you can choose when to use it. You can use like ambush to take like the ambush first and take something out, then use campaign to force your opponent to then do a damage or two, depending on if he's deployed or not, to your opponent's units. And so you can kind of like take multiple things out. You can you can try and choose which ones resolve first, which is quite nice. And just Fulham coming in being a 4/4, and then next turn when you play Zuckus becoming a 5/5, but also Zuckus coming in as then with Fulham on the board as a 7/7 with ambush and saboteur as well is really cool. Like I really like this combo. I'm looking forward to playing double cunning bow, but even more for the next set with all these new like cunning cards kind of do really well. And also since it's like the Shadows of the Galaxy, and there are a lot more bounty hunters and the dark side, like the shadowy underworld side of the galaxy, you're getting a lot more benefits, especially since Boba's already a bounty hunter, so he's already like for set 1 prepared for set 2, which is really cool. So now we're getting off those two. We got Resourceful Pursuers, which is a 5-cost 5/6 with Saboteur and a bounty hunter. So not the best, like 5-cost 5/6, pretty good stats. But then and always got a Saboteur, which you can defeat ignore Sentinel and defeat Defender Shields, and it's a bounty hunter as well. But like compared to these two combos together, it's still pretty good common. Then we've got many more cunning cards, and now we've got some upgrades and some events as well. So we've got Unrefusable Offer as our cunning upgrade here. We got then the events of Let the Wookiee Win as our heroic 2-cost event. Then we got a double cunning one of Final Showdown, so our legendary double cunning card. So I think each aspect's going to have 2 double aspect cards, one being a legendary and one being like whatever the other one is, but they're going to have 2 for each one because we've seen we've got 2 for cunning, and I don't think there's anything before or after those numbers for it. And I think the same with the other aspects as well. So it'd be quite nice to get more double aspect cards, kind of like give them more of a benefit to running double aspect. And then we got the one cost event Swoop Down. So Unrefusable Offer is another bounty one, so it's a 2-cost upgrade that gives no stats to the card. Can't attach to a non-leader unit, but then when attached, it gives the card a bounty, and the bounty is play this unit for free under your control, and it's play ready. And at the start of the regroup phase, you defeat it. So you can just attach it to something you're going to take out, and then if you attach to one of your opponent's cards that you take out, and then if you then take it out with this bounty on, you get to play it for free under your control. And since you play it, you get any on plays and stuff like that, and it comes in active mode, and can then at the start of the regroup phase defeat it, which is quite cool. So you get to put this on something to kind of take it out, so you can take control of it for a turn, and then use it to turn, and then lose at the end of it, which is basically make use of it. As this comes in ready, you can attach straight to your opponent's base, which is quite nice. So with these events, we got Let the Wookiee Win. This is a really nice one because it's a new trick. So like you can kind of work out if you want to. Well, you don't really want to play it as a jabber to kind of get a cost reduction, but it's a nice little trick card. Only 2 costs, but then it allows you to give your opponent a choice of 2 options. So your opponent chooses one of these 2 options. So for 2 costs, your opponent either lets you ready up to 6 resources, so he lets you pay 2 to untap 6, which can be very nice, depending if you got more things to play. And the other option is allow you to ready a friendly unit, and if it's a Wookiee unit, attack with it, and it gets 2+ power for this attack. So if you play it in any other deck, your opponent either gives you 6 resources for the cost of 2, or so you get an extra basically +4 resources off this, or you can allow you to ready a friendly unit for one. So like in any deck that's not Wookiee, and you're playing this, you're either getting 6 resources back or allowed to ready one of your units that is not ready, and you get to choose one friendly unit. But then if you're playing in a Wookiee deck, your opponent will either giving you either 6 resources back so you can play more things, or allowing you to ready a unit. And if it is a Wookiee, and if you have any Wookiee units, you can restand a Wookiee unit and then be able to attack with it straight away and give it an extra 2 power for that attack, make it a little bit stronger. So your opponent either thinks, do I give him more resources to play more things and do more stuff, or do I let him restand a unit? And if it's a Wookiee, if he attacks and restands a Wookiee unit, attack straight away with it, and then give it extra 2 power for that attack, make it even stronger. Especially Wookiees are not generally quite big units, like very bulky, and most of them are grit, so they become a lot more powerful the more damage they take. So it could be a game is when you're losing something just because you don't restand a Wookiee. So your opponent's got a tough situation there. but it's a very nice card nonetheless. Restanding up to 6 resources or a unit could like make or break the game potentially. And so it's a very good rare. And then we got Final Showdowns. This is a very cool double aspect card. It's a 6 cost one, so 6 cost double cunning. So quite a hefty one, but it's got a very good effect because it allows you to ready each unit you control. So ready all the units you control, leader or like all your space units, all your ground units, all your leader unit, all your units get restunned or readied. And then at the start of the reroute phase, you lose the game. So it's like as the card kind of says, it's a final showdown. Is a final gambit essentially. So you restand all your stuff, and then at the end of the turn, if you haven't won, you lose the game. So it's like a all or nothing win card. So it gives it a good status as a legendary card because it's an all or nothing win. So if you've got like a big board and your opponent just again goes to take initiative, you can go, okay, fine, I'm going to play this for 6, restand all my stuff, and then finish you off because you've got no actions to do for the rest of this turn, and I can win with this. So it's a nice card. You can potentially put one in like a couple copies in the side for like best of 3 or even like main deck one if you potentially come to a situation it could be very useful. But it's a very nice card, quite interesting one as well. Then we got Swoop Down being a 1-cost event, and this one is a nice little tactic here where you can attack with a space unit, and it gains Saboteur, meaning you can ignore a Sentinel and also defeat the defender's shields, and it can attack ground units for its attack. So it's a never card, just like the it's never one of those cards kind of trying to break the rules of the game, allowing you to attack between arenas where normally you can only attack space to space, ground to ground. This is one that kind of ignores the rules and kind of does what it wants to do, allowing you to attack the ground arena from space. And if it attacks a ground unit, that unit it gets +2 power. Like the card you're attacking with gets +2 power, and the defender gets -2 power for this attack. So it kind of is like an event, like an event for space units, like basically giving the same thing as I can't remember the unit anymore. The one unit you've got where you can attack, where you can basically forecast a unit, space unit, you can attack your opponent's ground units with it, and they get -2 or minus power when you're attacking them. It's the same for this. It's just on an event now, so you can use it all for them. But it does make sense that I was only allowing for space units attacking the ground, because ground units, unless they got like heavy cannons and stuff, can't really attack the space units from the ground. But the space can like come down and like attack the ground units quite easily. So that's pretty cool. They put into like cards like this, and it's it's never a rare. So quite interesting rares as well. We're gonna probably have the same set one. We're gonna have some very good rares. It's very like mediocre rares. Some a bit more costly than the rest. And then the last thing we got is some single aspect plus cards. So we finally got when we got like explored like the art for this bounty guild initiate. I thought it might be someone like relevant, but it's just a random person that's trying to basically join the bounty guild, and also mercenary gunship. So we got the 1-cost bounty guild initiate, being a 1/2 bounty hunter with a when played. If you control another bounty hunter unit, you may deal 2 damage to ground units. It's very nice with Canned Bane because when you play at bounty hunters, you can do damage to your opponent's unit or make your opponent take damage to their units when it's played from both sides of Canned Bane. And this allows you, like, while you've got another bounty hunter already in play, you can deal 2 damage to a ground unit, but you get to choose on like with Canned Bane, your opponent can choose where they're going to put the damage with Canned Bane's effect. And then we got the 2-cost mercenary gunship being a 3/2, pretty good stats for a 2-cost unit. So very nice ones. And but it's got an action whereas for 4 resources you take control of this unit and any player may use this ability. So in Twin Suns, it could be quite interesting because you could take your opponent's take this from someone so they can't have it, and you have a unit if you don't have any units, and or if you don't see any units when you're playing, which would be rare. But you can also take away this card from another person as well, so they don't have it. But it's like a weird ability because it costs double the cost of the card, but it's quite like a funny thing you could do. You could basically take it away from your opponent so they can't make use of it. Can't have it. Especially if it's active and they don't have the resources to play something else before, you can take it away, be attack with it before they can like take it back and stuff. So quite an interesting one. It's pretty nice for it when it comes to like the sealed as well, like pre-release or draft. A very nice card for that. Which, because we got to think about like some of these cards also very good at drafting as well as like constructive events. And that is it for this week. So yeah, let me know what you think about some of these cards. Like what do you reckon the leaders? What do you reckon of some of these cards? What you're looking forward to in the set? and get a bit of discussion going for it. So that's it from me today. Feel free to like, comment, subscribe, and I'll be back next time with a bit of like maybe a deck profile, some different content we'll see in a bit. So thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye for now.
Like a boss.